Welcome, everybody, once again to yet another episode of the Beardy Boys, and here we are again, doing the damn thing and doing it right. Y'all know how it is. So, of course, it's been a while since we've done an introduction, but for those of you tuning in who haven't really been done an introduction, my name's Nate, sitting
I'm
over
Rick.
here, and then below,
They call me Hat Guy. What's
that's
up?
right. So, yeah. We are going to be discussing several topics today. Some topics that some may find a little bit iffy. Some may find a little bit niche. But you know what? It's what we do.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Who gives a flying? We're too
Who
early.
gives
in the
a
video.
hell?
I can't say it. We're too early in the video.
Who gives a flying flock? Flock.
Yeah.
Flock.
Haha.
Who gives a flying
Yes,
flock?
That's
That's
how you
right.
get around it right there. So, all right. So I think it's obligatory. The first thing that we talk about is the thing that has been literally dominating the news cycle since we were last together. The Titan,
Oh God!
aka the little tin can that literally got pushed to the bottom of the ocean and had a catastrophic implosion. And at least that's the story so far. But
Hubris.
yeah, and I hate saying it because it's just like you hate when losses of life like that happen in any way. But that dude, I mean, there's a reason why there are all these safety precautions in place for the ocean. It's because literally, it is one of the most dangerous places to be ever
It's
in the
less
known
explored
universe.
than space at this point for us.
Yes. Well, it's because okay, and people would say oh well, what about space? The infinite void. Let me tell you something about the not infinite, but the crushing void of the depths of the ocean. We have only explored what between 20, maybe 25% of our oceans, and when you go down a certain level, it is pitch black. I mean,
And like
there
you
is
said, the pressure is just
oh,
insurmountable.
and that's the other thing. The deeper you go, not only the less light there is, but the more pressure, the more crushing pressure of the overall ocean and the gravitational pull of the earth that is literally tugging down and pushing down on top of you. And if you aren't careful down there, you're gonna be removed off the census. I'm sorry, but that's just
Yeah.
a fact. And
Also, fact checked is 5% has been explored, not 25.
fuck me, dude, 5%.
Yeah.
There you go. So it's just and people want to make claims like, oh, we know so much about space. There's nothing more to explore.
No.
Bullshit. Eat my ass. Anyone out there who says that, y'all crazy. Y'all,
That's a
Well,
crazy opinion to have. Yeah.
yeah. So, you and I both knew someone, Chad, who had that opinion, and then when I heard him say it, I was like, "You serious, dude? You're serious? Like, you actually believe that we know enough to say for certainty, there are no more big discoveries to be had?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah." That is a level of ignorance/arrogance that I can't even fathom, dude.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm just like, it's arrogance and ignorance. It's strange how those two go hand in hand, especially in the minds
Unearned
of.
confidence.
Yeah.
wait, never mind. Okay.
What
was
were you
trying
gonna
to-
say?
I was trying to combine arrogance and ignorance at the same time, and my
A
brain
rignorance?
processes. Oh, there you go. I was
A
going to
rig-
say
a
something way
rigor-
different.
A rignorance?
Excuse me?
A rignorance?
Who?
Shut up.
What the fuck is going on right now?
I don't know.
I can't
It's
even track
Rick.
on this
It's
conversation
Rick.
right now.
So yeah, the whole deal with that whole situation is now there's I hate when this happens because there's a ripple effect with everything that happens on the internet that affects things that it shouldn't even affect at all. For instance, Markiplier is working on a film based on the Iron Lung video game that he played and had a lot of fun with, and he found the concept so amazing, he wanted to make it into a film, like a legit film. And that's
Yeah.
awesome. But now there are people saying that there's people who are on like various websites that are putting pressure on Markiplier to either cancel or delay it because of this situation being so similar to the concept of the Iron Lung game. And I'm just like, why? Why? Why is this even a thing? Why are people like drudging up something that has nothing to do with what Markiplier is doing? He is doing a video game adaptation about an iron lung, submersible on a foreign planet in a completely different like ocean, different everything. But it's just the ignorance and the like I don't understand. Like, there are people out there who just want to cancel Markiplier for some reason. I mean, I don't
Because
get
he's
that.
successful.
Yeah, because he's successful and he has morals that he actually sticks to, and he doesn't
These
try and
people, these people made a really dumb decision, and what happened to them is horrific. But
yes,
why should that affect? Like the Earth did not rotate on their breath. Like
no,
we all can just do our own thing and not even remember that that happened. For their friends and for their family, this is a horrific tragedy.
yeah,
For the all of mankind, it's just something that happened.
yes,
Yeah, like when me exploring my TikTok, there was a special place in hell for me, but I've been getting a lot of TikToks about the situation.
Yeah,
Not in the the lightest of light, but the darkest of night.
some dark
Yeah.
humor.
And this is like beyond dark humor. And to
Oh,
kind of go back to what you guys were saying about like people hating on Markiplier because of success, I
yeah,
think it's become a thing where people are just hating on successful people. And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
all
That's
seems to
true.
be anymore, man.
take this situation with the Titan for a pure example. 5 people passed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And the whole entire time, people are joking about it. And I could kind of see both sides. Obviously, it's horrific, but I can understand why
yeah,
people are like upset or pissed off. Is because look at the harsh reality that we have in this country. Obviously, one side, well, like 99% of the people are basically living in poverty, while the ultra, 1% are here's $250,000. Let's go see the Titanic. So people are kind of seeing that like, hey, like we are struggling. Can you like help us with this? And then when rich people start getting into shit, instead of being empathetic, people are like, oh well, you're not doing anything for us. So now, haha, now you're this, now you're that. So it's like
well,
it's a very thin gray area. Like I could understand both sides because I lived my life in poverty growing up. But then at the same time, I have a whole bunch of friends who are successful and they
yeah,
make great money and they deserve, all the things they want to do.
yeah.
They want to travel the world. They bust their ass to get to that level to travel the world. So they earn their spot to be part of the 1%.
yeah.
Right.
But it's like I could understand why the people who are part of the 99% are pissed off at the 1%, but it's just back and forth like ping pong type of thing.
Yeah.
Well, there's a
And
huge difference between people who have a couple $1 million in assets and people who have hundreds of millions of dollars and it's generational wealth and everybody for decades and decades and decades and their family have just been making millions of
obscenely
dollars a
wealthy.
year,
Yeah.
like the divide between the rich and the poor is drastic, but the amount of people who are infinitely wealthy is way more drastic.
Oh
Like
yeah.
there are rich people in our country. There's a lot of rich people in our country.
There's
It's not
but
just, but
the
they're
term wealthy, like
right. But
wealthy
filthy,
motherfuckers. Oof.
filthy, obscenely wealthy motherfuckers, which are like the people who did this thing, um, I can kind of see more justification for being angry about that. But when you know somebody who has like $2 or $3 million, when you combine all of their wealth in every different facet, it's like that person probably worked their ass off for that. But
Yeah.
when you get to the like hundreds of millions of dollars, it's like that's probably generational wealth. There's probably some form of a Ponzi scheme in some capacity that's caused that to happen. Like they're taking advantage of a workforce, they're fucking doing something shitty. When you see somebody who's just mega rich, there's usually something to that, you
Yeah.
know.
And But here's my whole take on it: is just whenever you see like someone who is, who has wealth or has, riches or anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
to automatically assume that they're the same as, say, someone like who's a like Donald Sterling, for instance, pretending all
Yeah.
billionaires are like Donald Sterling, who is like just a massive like just jerk and racist asshat. I mean, that's a bit backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm not defending rich people doing rich people things and doing like it's their money, they can spend it however the hell they want, but at the same time, I would say a lot of them have just like so much, that is just so much money and so many assets that are at their disposal, that I can't imagine. It's really a world that is outside of my purview and it's outside of my scope of understanding. I mean, I look at like what I have accumulated through my career on YouTube and everything, and I feel more than blessed with that.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
And it's pennies compared to a lot of these
oh
people we're
yeah,
talking
I'm
about.
looking at my bank account and I'm just like, dang, I'm actually all right. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
really bad off. And then I look at like the literal physical wealth that someone like Jeff Bezos has. The dude
Or
has
just people who are sitting there at 13 years old with the same kind of financial ability that you have. Like they don't know. Like their people give them a fucking blank check practically, and they
mhm,
just move, and they wouldn't even notice that being anything
Yeah.
until they get like double or triple the amount of money you make in a year,
that's
and they've spent it.
yeah, and
Then they'll
and
be like, you might be spending too much. You spent like $300,000 this year. What are you doing? Below that, they're like, whatever.
yeah, and
There's
my
tons of people like that.
yeah,
Mhm.
and my whole thing with just I look at people like that's like humility is such a crazy thing, and I look at and people we talk about people canceling and hating on people who are successful. Mr.
Uh huh.
Beast. I mean, the amount
Yeah.
of the amount of shit talkers and the amount of people who have come after Mr. Beast looking for any magnifying glass, like just like amplifying every magnifying glass on every situation, trying to find dirt, finding nothing, but then making shit up. It's insane. And
At what time do you blame the machine and not the fucking man?
oh,
That's what I'm
never,
saying.
never, because the machine is literally, in a lot of ways, all that matters to these people. That's all. That's all it is. They not only live on like for the machine, they can't live without the machine. It's almost like they need that to be like constantly grinding up all the beef and just like force feeding it down their mouths. It's like a
Yeah.
Pavlovian thing where it's just what they're used to and they don't know anything
I don't
else. And
blame creators, dude. I think it's
I
fucked
don't
up to
either.
do that, especially when you like, am I going to make fun and talk shit about people and things? Of course. I do
Of
it to my
course, yeah,
friends. I do it to
yeah.
everything.
You.
So it's
That's like
not
earlier
like
we were
I,
doing that in Gang Beasts. We were talking shit about
yeah.
each other, and
Mhm.
So
that's
I'll
just
be
part of
talking
it.
shit about these hoes that go out here and post hoe shit and just make cent money. I will make fun of that, and it is what it
I
is.
will
But at the
too.
end of the day, there's a choice. Like a fucking turd will draw flies.
Yeah.
If you don't care who your audience is and you just want to stack bread and you'll do anything for money, you can be a big pile of shit and draw tons of flies. My
Mm-hmm.
dog, we took him out in nature and let him run around in a creek the other day, and he took a shit, and there was like 100 flies on his shit before it touched the ground. It was crazy. So if you
Yeah.
want to be a steaming pile of shit and you don't care, that doesn't bother you, you can get eyeballs on your shit. You can do
Easy.
anything. If you wanted to make a fucking OnlyFans account, if I made one with my girlfriend, we'd have probably $2,000 or $3,000 tomorrow like that.
Yeah.
But it's not worth it to me. So
No.
don't be jealous and angry about people doing shit for money and having massive wealth when you're not willing to stoop to the depths that they are. That's
Mhm.
just that's just them being fucking hoes. Like
Well.
that's them being sellouts. They do that in the business world. The corporate world is full of
Mm-hmm.
simps and hoes.
Oh
And
yes.
their noses are browner than
Well.
any other you've ever
Well.
seen because it's
And
up somebody's ass.
the thing is, collectively, we know someone who has done that in the past. And do I judge them for that? Not really. I mean, it's their life, how they want to live it. I mean, it's whatever. It's none
Yeah.
of my business. How they live their life is up to them.
That's just their fucking choice, not mine.
Yeah.
And I'm going to reserve my right to say that that money is not good enough for me to do that type of shit.
Yeah. Agreed.
You know?
All right. So we bounced around a little bit, talking about wealth, and that we ended it on hoes and OnlyFans. So not normal
I
for
mean,
us.
because they're making mad bread, dude. These
No,
people,
no.
there's some of them that are
No.
fucking so paid, dude.
Well, there's a few
So
that
paid.
that I've read up on. I know there was one. It was Amaranth. Yeah, she was on Anthony Padilla's like sit down thing, and I was just like, she's the number one OnlyFans. Okay, I mean she's whatever. But then all of a sudden, she talked about it's like they were like, how much a month do you make? And she was just like, around $3.2 million a month.
Yeah.
And
I
I'm like,
mean, a month.
Yeah.
That's worth it. That's her number. That's
Yeah.
worth it to her. Good.
And hey, make your paper, boo boo. Go ahead. I
Right.
don't care.
Yeah, that's true.
But
You
but
know,
at the same time,
there
it's just
there
like,
ain't nobody staring at my butthole like that. Just not gonna
nobody
happen,
wants
dude.
it. Like, dude, like,
You would be
dude,
surprised.
I'm
You
so
would be
ugly. I'm so
surprised,
ugly.
Nate.
Whenever I
You
step
would be
out of the
surprised.
shower, when I
No,
step
me?
out of the
Yeah.
shower, my reflection runs away from me.
Me, you, and Rick could do a trio photo, full spread, and people would want to see that shit. I promise you.
I mean, I don't think people
promise
want to
you.
watch mine.
That's
No.
what you think.
Nah.
That's
I
what
will
you
call-
think,
I will
dude.
cause a lot of
That's what
therapy.
you think, dude.
That's therapy.
There are pony jar pictures out there. Dude, just think about it. Somebody wanted to see Two Girls, One Cup, or it would have never happened.
I will
If
send
they
people
didn't
to the
want to see
psych
it, it would have
ward.
never
Here's-
happened.
Okay, Rick, here's what I'll say. Nico Cotto Avocado, as big and disgusting as a human being as he is, had an OnlyFans so popular that he literally bought like a $2.5 million apartment in LA after only 3
Rick.
months.
I'm telling you, people want to see that bussy. People want to see the Rick Ussy, man.
Let
I'm
me
telling
lose a
you.
little bit of weight, and I'll probably give it a thought.
There are probably feeders out there that would want you to double up, dude. Think
No,
about it.
dude,
I mean,
I value my health.
To know this.
I
gotta
value
be
my
in
health.
TLC. I have seen this shit.
I have an account. I made it as a joke. I did a live stream saying if I get a shiny Charizard, I will make an
Oh my
account.
god.
And on the 19th box, the 19th box on the second to last pack
The fuck,
was
dude.
with a shiny Charizard. So I made
Oh,
it.
you should
OnlyFans.
just like take pictures of the bathroom floor after you trim your pubes and just post those. Just trimmings, just pube trimmings.
Just being like, just gave the hedge a trim.
Yeah,
Be like, this is the
$5. I'll send you a
massacre.
bag.
Oh.
I mean, I have Manscaped, so I could probably do a Manscaped
You can do
video.
Manscaped
You can
fucking
do that.
commercials and everything, dude.
Yeah, 100% on
And
on
somebody
and raw.
told me on YouTube there were videos, like instructional videos on how to trim your bush, and chicks just have full fucking crotch out, like trimming their shit on YouTube.
Dude, there was someone bet me, and it was just like, dude, I like, there's no nudity on YouTube anymore. I'm like, how much do you want to
Nah.
lose? How much money do you want to lose?
As long as it's like instructional or
Well,
whatever.
yeah, that's like
Yeah.
the naked yoga, dude.
Mhm.
You could do that. Boom. Next thing you know, it's just like
Rick be
girls
like 3
blasting
million
their
subs,
assholes
dude.
all over the fucking camera.
Rick get to 3 million subs doing the naked yoga.
Oh,
I have 3 million psych ward patients.
I would lose. No,
Yeah.
I'd lose at least 50,000. At least. They'd probably not. Like, we'd probably lose enough to go back down to less than 200,000.
Instead of they call me hat guy, it'd be they call me brown eye.
Oh, come on, man, dude. All right, that's enough on my subject. What do you got for us there?
Ooh.
Whichever one, whoever wants it.
Go ahead, Rick. I'm just
Okay.
gonna bitch about something.
All right, then I'll bitch about my thing. And my bitch is about this month is Men's Mental Awareness Month.
Mental
Huh.
health awareness. Oh,
So it's Men's Mental Awareness. Why can't I fucking say it? What the hell?
I don't
We just
Men's
know.
got
Mental
the
Awareness
last
Month.
the
Your
last
toxic
conversation.
masculinity won't let you actually say it. It's just like, no,
No.
no,
God damn it!
fine,
My
stop.
my liberal veins will say no. Don't say it. Do not
Yeah.
say it. So yeah, it's this month. That's all I'm gonna, I'm just gonna say like that. And you don't really see much covering on it. You
And
good?
men's
Well, of
mental
course
health
not.
awareness.
Of course not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't say that word for some
Because fuck
reason,
it.
but we are not cared about. We're thrown away in society.
In a
And like
lot of
for
ways,
example,
yeah.
like for Father's Day, you don't really see much things on the commercials. You don't see much no specials for
Hmm.
like restaurants. Like for IHOP, you have like Mother's Day special. Father's Day is just another day.
Yeah, and
Yeah, it's true.
I hate to say it, but it's just I guess given how like a lot of portrayals are put in this country, there's just no positive like father figures and no
I
positive
think a
father
lot of
figures
it's
in
self
media.
sabotage. In a lot of ways, self sabotage takes hold when it comes to how men are treated and how we treat mental health and stuff like that. Because let's be real, man, there's a lot of slack jawed fucking douchebags out there, and they
Yep.
don't want anything to change. And they keep these social circles between men to where we can't talk about our feelings, where we can't tell each other that we love each other and all these things that feel uncomfortable. Like our generation is still of the generation where it feels weird to tell your friends that you love them if they're men. It doesn't feel like natural to do that, whether it be true or not. There's still like does this make me less masculine if I say this? And it's like, no, dude, like it really doesn't. And that goes along with like telling people you need help. That goes along with like, you know, um, thinking that your emotions matter and how you're feeling about things, what makes you uncomfortable, what doesn't. Like, you don't want to be the guy that's bitching out and all these different things. But it's like we have this standard set for us in a lot of ways, that says if you're not towing the line, you're not a man. And that goes along with like birthdays. How often do you see like older guys or guys that are like even in their 20s or so, past 21, we don't want everybody to be celebrating us and shit like that. We don't want Father's Day. We don't want Christmas presents to be a big deal. And if you are, then you're considered a fucking child for allowing people to
Yep.
celebrate you and to get you gifts and things like that. I know I feel uncomfortable about it, and I know that that's because just the way that I've been brought up and the way society has been since I've been brought up. No matter how I feel, it's kind of bitch made to be out here celebrating yourself or being down and sad and talking to your friends about shit, especially if it has to be a very intimate, closed off conversation that nobody can know about if you're breaking down crying over some shit or you feel
Hmm.
like you're a bitch,
Well,
you
Yeah.
know?
I guess, but honestly, man, I my dad like when we celebrated Father's Day with my dad. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it was a pretty big thing. I mean,
It
we had
should
fun and
be.
everything, and
There
I
ain't
would
nothing
say
wrong with that.
no. And my biggest thing with my dad is just like it. Yeah, I've been making a point to spend more time with him and everything because just like I feel like I haven't spent as much time with him here in like the last few years. And
Yeah.
he actually was the one that drove me to my like procedure that I had done.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
awesome.
yeah, and he me and him joked the whole way down there. And while I was coming out of my anesthesia, he basically like joked with me on the way back. He's like, "You still slurring over there, son?" I'm like, I was just like, and he's like, "Yeah, you still slurring." But yeah, and we just joked the whole way down there and the whole way back. And um, also, it's just this month is a weird one for me. It's because I just having a lot going on. Just
Mm-hmm.
Chad, yours and my birthday is in this month, and
That's right.
and then Father's Day, and then just a bunch of family stuff. My uncle passed away this month, which again that's a whole thing.
Fucking
Lulu,
sucks.
like at the start of the month, and you see, mentally I've been very drained. Physically not like physically I can recover pretty quickly, but mentally it's just there's a lot that happens, and I just sit around and just do nothing, and things just start to waste away
Oh yeah.
and it happens so quickly because I'm just like man, I just need like to just rest for a moment, just let my mind like have a moment of clarity.
Yeah.
And in that, trying to find that moment of clarity, all of a sudden just dishes pile up, editing work
Oh
piles
yeah,
up,
dude.
Yep.
trash piles up, work around the house piles up, and all these little tasks that you had like handled and everything, they've all piled up, and now it's just like here you are playing catch up, and you've stressed yourself out even more.
I'm gonna have to ask you to take your spy cam out of my house, Nate,
I was gonna say the same thing.
because it feels like you're telling my story here and it's freaking me out.
Well,
Yeah,
yes,
I
hey
mean,
man,
yeah,
it was
it's
Nikki's
yeah.
idea, man.
Well, we just have a lot going on, dude.
It is.
Like modern people have a lot going on. Our ancestors, even just as soon back as a generation before, did not have to deal with this shit like we deal with. Like
Yeah.
everybody's on your ass always.
The
You
constant
know,
the cycle of bullshit.
yes, there is no time. We are not allowed to be bored. Being bored is a super uncomfortable place to be for us because the way our minds have been fucking programmed. So to be able to just sit out in silence is painful for myself and many other people included.
It was for
So
me for a long time. Now I cherish those moments of silence. Just
right, people do seek that.
where I can just like turn my brain off for like just that moment, and just
Right.
like be in the present. Just like
Yeah.
be in the moment, not have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
I
Well,
cherish those moments.
that used to be what it was, and when moments of chaos were the exception. We
Now it's
operate in a world of chaos constantly, and now
Yeah.
peace is the exception. You
yeah.
know,
Well, as the old channel saying went, this is our old channel saying, embrace the chaos
yeah,
because
or
that's what
which
you got
can
to do.
lead to fucking some terrible outcomes. I think there's a lot of the mental health crisis that's going on attributed to not being able to just like fucking catch a breath and exist for a little while. You know, even people go back to survival mode for therapy now, like going out and planting in their gardens, doing like menial tasks, playing games like fucking Minecraft, and shit like that. That's just
Yeah.
very, menial tasks a lot. That's relaxation and enjoyment for a lot of people because life has become so fucking arduous and complex in so many different ways. Especially people like we're very social people. Just imagine the people who aren't. It's hard to think about people who have trouble articulating their thoughts and being involved with people. I know a lot of guys like that are the very quiet, stoic type, and they are constantly in these situations where it's just like they're demanded to be interacting with people and stuff. Like you can't just be a mechanic anymore. You have to be a
Hmm.
mechanic who's super good at customer service, super good at not getting, because you could back in the 70s be the asshole mechanic that told everybody to get fucked, but you were so good at your job people would bring their shit to you. They'd be like, Larry's an asshole, but he'll fix your goddamn Dodge. But now if exists, he gets Google reviews that are stinking his fucking business no matter how good he is. Like there's always people on your fucking ass evaluating your shit, and you have to uphold all of these perfect standards. Like a lot of people don't operate that way, man, and it
Yeah.
fucks them.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta be very PC with how you talk, of how you talk, and on top of that, it's just with this new generation coming up. These are like the iPad kids that are like trying to dictate the
I can't
future.
imagine. I can't imagine, dude. I cannot fucking imagine. I don't know what that. I was in the fucking forest running around unsupervised all
Oh,
day,
I
out on
was
the
in the
street
Bring it from a
skateboarding
jungle.
all
garden
day.
hose.
I was in
You
the
know,
concrete jungle.
I was out here in the street skateboarding, running pills, and doing shit I shouldn't have been doing. But
I was
you
in the
know,
streets too.
Yeah.
it was just a way to be, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with people having technology and stuff like that, but I do know it's easy to dissociate and become detached from reality if you're constantly sinking yourself into media
Yeah, because
constantly.
I have a lot
Yeah.
of family who are like younger than me. I have brothers, I have cousins, all the kind of sorts. And unfortunately, all of them are iPad kids. And they're so socially unaware of a lot of things. And they're
Hmm.
so very blunt and straightforward about certain things that sometimes it's kind of cringy.
Because it's like,
Like,
how do you actually fucking know?
yeah, because their parents, like, I don't know what's going on with my generation of, my, I guess, like mid-20 millennials that are
Yeah.
just giving kids phones or iPads and just think that's sufficient of parenting.
No.
Because you would go into restaurants and let's just say that you come from like a light skinned Latin background, or
Yeah.
or yeah, you're light skinned Latin, because like that's what I am. I will see cases where my cousins or other family members, they're 7, 6, 8 years old, and we'll go to a restaurant and a waiter's black, and you see, my baby cousins. Why is he black? Just out loud. You're just
Yeah.
like so socially unaware, and
Yeah.
then they will say things like that out loud, and then when waiters approach, what do you want to eat? They would just immediately grab their phone, and then they'll look at the parent and they'll order for them. So they could say things out
Yeah.
loud, but whenever someone directly talks with them, it's immediately, I'm scared, and they
Yeah.
don't
Well,
know how to socialize.
so
It's like you
social.
go to these
Yeah.
schools, and I have baby brothers,
No
and I
social interaction
see,
skills.
yeah, I see these, these new seventh, eighth graders, because I'm not that far from a junior high, and when recess or school is out, everybody walking home is just walking back home like this.
Not
Yeah.
even
I
talking
used
to one
to,
another.
yeah, and I used to walk home with like my group of friends. It would be like 7, 8, sometimes 15 of us deep,
Yeah.
just running, being idiots, just having fun.
Yeah.
But it's like this social, this separation that's just is causing all this. I guess I guess you could say it ties back to mental awareness as well, because they're so detached from society.
It's a
And
detachment from reality, really, which is
yeah,
the
society
scariest
and
thing.
reality.
Because
Yeah.
I get wanting to kind of sink into different things to detach and to be, and that's good sometimes to be able to be. People used to read books to do it. People have done it forever, but like they weren't reading a book for fucking like 14 hours a day.
Yeah, I
No.
had
Do you
my
know what I
goosebumps. I
mean?
would take 2 hour sessions with my goosebumps as a
Like
kid.
you can't sacrifice so much of your actual life for just staring into a screen and expect to be able to comprehend our world the way that you normally would. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's really going to fuck people up. I think it's going to be a really bad thing. And I think that it's a huge cause for our mental health issues that people are facing, just simply because things continue to get worse and there's more of this. There's more media consumption than ever. There has to be some kind of tie in with that because it's programming was made to be exactly that. Like the Nazis were the ones that started this shit, unfortunately, because they knew that it could affect the emotions, the thoughts, the mentalities of people over time. If you stir them up with moving images and sound, then you can fucking affect their brains.
Yeah. It's a common thing, like just where media is often used to basically curtail and just like make everyone get in line, and instead of like actually having people have social interaction, like actually go out, talk, and interact and be sociable.
Yeah.
Instead, it's like It's like sociability is completely just null and void nowadays.
Well, even video games, like enjoyable things like video games and shit. I've seen documentaries of like the competitive gamers in Korea and shit having to go out on these fucking like backpacking trips for months after like playing so much just to get back to reality and like feeling like they're alive again because it becomes a true problem for them mentally. And so they have to go
Yeah.
detached from all technology for months to like recover from that shit,
I can
you
get
know.
that.
Yeah.
But they spend every waking hour playing a game to be competitive for it and stuff, you know, for years. So that's pretty severe. Most people don't do that. But if that's doing that to them, like what is it doing over years of pushing that limit, you know, being involved in some kind of we don't know yet,
No, we
you know.
don't. Sad to
So
say, but that's true. We don't
for me
know.
personally, if I'm not doing reactions and I'm not doing like live streams of video gameplay, if I'm doing something, I'm like modding something or I'm not actively playing the game or I'm like tinkering around with shit and cleaning it and opening it up just to make sure that I'm not constantly just interfacing with a screen because
Yep.
if I do, then I feel fucking like I've caught the flu or something. I just start getting
Yeah.
really tired and weak and just fucking feel like shit.
Yep. That's me. Every Saturday, I spend 4 to 5 hours at the cigar shop by my house,
Mm-hmm.
and I sit down with the owner. A whole bunch of people comes in. It's a very popular, smoke shop. So a lot of people of all different type of caliber comes in, from people who are just your typical 9 to 5 to lawyers,
Yeah.
politicians, doctors, whatever. And we all leave our profession out the door.
Yeah.
And you
Everybody
just
enters
chop it
that
up.
door. No one's no longer a doctor. You're no longer a politician. I'm no longer a YouTuber. I'm no longer nothing. We're just
Yeah.
men. We're just human beings sitting down and having a cigar.
Yeah.
And that's my therapy every Saturday. For 4 to 5
Yeah.
hours, I burn 2 cigars, talking shit, sports or life or this or that, but not even mentioning work at all. No one talks about work.
Yeah.
We just talk shit, saying that the Cowboys are shit, this team is shit, that team is shit. We
Cowboys
just
are shit. But, yeah. I'm just
but
saying.
that's what we do for
Agreed.
4 to 5 hours, and that's just how I kind of reset. Every week.
I think that's great, man.
Yeah.
Nate and I get the pleasure of doing wrestling one Sunday a month. We have these big ass
Yeah.
wrestling shows. That's
Those
awesome.
are fun. Those
Yeah.
are so much fun.
Yeah, that's one way to do it. You once a month, or technically, what I was looking into was you're supposed to have at least one time per week where you're just being social.
Mhm.
Let it be just you going to the park and just walking. You're in a social environment. You don't have to talk with anybody at the park. Just walk around. Just whatever park size you have, depending how big it is, depending how small it is, either do a half a lap, full lap, 2 lap, 3 laps. All depends on the size and your area, whatever the case may be. Walk at least 30 minutes. If 30 minutes is 2 laps or 5 laps or a half lap, then just figure it out. There's a
I would
bridge between.
encourage I would encourage any of the guys listening who feel destitute, lonely, like there's nothing out there for them. I would try a bunch of shit and find your
Yes.
group. You'll eventually find your group.
Yeah,
It's
you'll
okay to
find- you'll
fail,
find-
but go out there and give it a shot, a bunch of different things, and find your group, whether it be going out to play like Friday Night Magic, going out and playing different board games, some kind of like sports at a gym or something near you. If there's even a gaming group where you can just go and talk games and like play games together, like find a group of people and enjoy yourself in a social situation, not just like this, not over Discord, which is fine, but go out there and face to face interact with some people. If you're not doing that, and see how much it'll improve your life, because it will. I couldn't imagine the isolation a lot of people live in. And I know it's really hard for a lot of people, but even people who struggle with it and have a really hard time with social settings, forcing yourself into uncomfortable situations can be transformative for a lot of people. Just get out there and do it. I understand people
Yeah.
going through high school and shit, how it's been hell for a lot of people with bullying and not fitting in and stuff like that. That's not forever. Like high school is over with. school is over with and you can go find a peer group outside of school, like the wrestling shit that we've done, like the bands that we've been in, like all these things Nate and I have done, the filmmaking projects that Nate has done. He's had a whole cast of people to deal with and stuff like that. It doesn't have to be, just this basic run of the mill shit. Get creative and know what you love and find people that are also gravitating towards that. It's worth it, man. It's really worth it.
Yes.
And I'm gonna get deep with this. Look in the camera and say this. This is gonna be true fact, okay? This is some Poppy giving you a heart to heart, all right?
Some Poppy's fact of the week.
This is some true shit. You are going to die someday.
That's true.
Unavoidable.
Do you either want to live your life regretting of either would have, could have, should have, or do you want to let go of like yesterday's past and just figure something out? Whatever happened yesterday happened.
It's
You can't
over.
change
Yeah.
it. It's over.
Yeah.
Today is the present. You could fix something to make the future better. Whatever happened yesterday, that chapter is closed. Today is the present. You write your chapter today.
Yes.
Tomorrow is a mystery. Tomorrow could be your last day, or maybe you have another 50, 60, 70, 80. You may be the person who lives the longest. You may actually break that world record, longest living human.
Probably not. But
I'm
maybe.
just saying, but there's a chance. You have a chance.
Yeah,
you might
there's
be the
always
longest.
the odds. There's always the odds.
There's
It could
odds.
happen.
There's always odds of things that could happen. But yesterday, it's not a could. It was already a was.
It's
happened.
gone. Yep.
It's gone.
Yeah.
So move on from it and just find a clique, find a niche, find a hobby, find something. Don't be afraid to talk with anybody. Don't be afraid to join a community. Like, yes, what Chad was saying, go out there sometimes. But if you have a social anxiety, I suggest start with Discord. Find a community that has the same interest as you. Like I said, I'm huge on cigars, and I'm part of a cigar Discord group. And me joining that group has been phenomenal. There's about 100 members from all around the world. Every single night from 9 p.m. my time to basically midnight, I hop on the call with like 15 different people. Some of them are from Germany. Some of them are from New Zealand. Yeah, some from Texas, California, Canada, all over the world. For 3 hours, it's just 15 of us having a cigar and just talking. And then some of us are gamers, and I got my ass whooped in Street Fighter, but that's besides the point. It's that interaction, it's the socialness that it keeps you sane sometimes.
Yep.
So start off with, since if you are younger than us, and you are part of the digital age, start off with Discord groups. Once you're comfortable socializing with people, just vocally through voice chats, whatever, try to dip your toes into the ocean of like the outside world. Touch grass, in other words, touch grass, and go to malls. Go to your local places. If you love playing billiards, and go to your local pool place and play pool with some random people, strangers, whatever. If you like bowling, go to your bowling alley. If you like basketball, go if there's any local basketball, public basketball courts, tennis courts, swimming pools, just little by little. And mental health is definitely a big thing. And like I just said before, one day you will die.
Unavoidable.
Don't let yesterday's problems dictate your future forever.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah. But
So Chad, your topic.
yeah. Chad,
Mine's going to be quick. All right. This isn't going to have to be a big thing, but did you guys see the Q handheld, the Sony handheld that came out like a few months ago or something? Well, they were talking about it.
No.
What the Sony, the one that they showed with the touchscreen?
Yeah. I just want to say this. All right. The PS Vita is still one of the greatest handheld consoles of all time. It's still super playable. It's gotten a little expensive, but there's workarounds to the storage situation. And all the problems that I've had with the Vita in the past have been completely annihilated. It's now easier to mod than anything I've ever touched. And it is amazing. Sony produced one of the greatest handhelds of all fucking time when they created the Vita. It's incredible. Okay? They come out with this new Q handheld, and it is streaming only. It is streaming. You can only stream your PS5 to it via Wi-Fi. Now it looks like something straight out of fucking Star Trek, as you would expect for Sony to produce. It's incredible. It's beautiful looking. It seems like it could be just one of the most badass things ever. But they made it a tablet that streams. Yeah.
It's a PS5 controller.
Why? Fucking why? Why would they do this? And I have racked my mind over this, and I've thought about this in a couple of different ways as to why they would fucking do this. Okay? So for me, in my opinion, the reason that they've done this is because whether we like it or not, business models of all kinds, including printers, are moving towards a subscription-based style of business. So yeah, that's kind of what it looks like.
Like that.
So
that's it.
So why they want this to happen is they don't want you to own any more games.
No.
The idea of ownership of a game is going to be lost. It's going to be like you rent movies. That's how you're going to play games. It's not going to be like, I bought this game, therefore I own it until the end of time. It is going to be, as long as you're paying monthly for this, you can play it. Unless we decide to remove it from the platform, then you're shit out of luck because it's ours. And if you have access to it at all times, you're a thief because we own this.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is even physical games that you buy right now, you don't own because you don't have the patches for them. So in 20 years, when you want to boot up a game that came out yesterday, even if you have the disc, you can put it in your system, but that bitch is going to crash and be a glitchy mess to the point where you can't play it on purpose. On purpose. I believe that they're not doing these patches because they can't finish games on time. I think they're doing it to keep you from actually ever owning it.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases, I can see that, especially from like the bigger companies.
Because they're not incapable of producing good games. They are doing this on purpose so that even if you have the physical copy, you don't have the updates 10 years from now, 20 years from now, because you're going to need those to play the game. So they'll sell you the car, but they're holding on to the keys.
Yeah, ever since the PS3, Xbox 360 era, that's when games were no longer your games.
You can't back them up. You can't have a perfect version of a game that has come out in the past few years and have it and be able to use it on an old system years from now unless you keep it maintained, already have the patches downloaded, whatever. But in a few years, if you want to play those games, you're going to have to either subscribe to the streaming service that they're on, or you're going to have to fucking bootleg all the shit to make them work, even if you have the disc, and then they're going to nail your ass to the wall for piracy. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. I could plug in my GameCube right now and everything's going to work.
Everything's going to work.
It's not internet based. It's not streaming based.
My PS2, same thing. My
PS2, my PS1,
all the Switch
my
stuff.
Wii.
Unless you have went and fucking backed up all of your Twitch or all of your Switch patches for the games and all that shit. Even the physical chip, those games like Scarlet, Pokemon Scarlet. If I put that into a system to play it years from now without all those patches, it's going to be what it was on release.
Yeah.
Unplayable mess.
No, I think it won't even let you play at all.
Maybe not.
It's internet based.
Maybe not.
They're also adding DLC to these Pokemon games now.
So there's all of the shit that comes into play that is making it to where you can't actually own those games in a playable form. And I don't think it's out of ignorance. I don't think it just doesn't make sense for this huge chunk of money that is made by these companies that they can't produce it keeps happening all the time. People are always complaining about it. Why don't they ever fix it? They don't want to.
Yeah, I agree.
They don't want to fix it that way, because if they do, you won't have to buy into their business model going towards the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes even like updates are paid for. Because of DLCs.
That's the only excuse for this Project Q type shit that I'm seeing. They don't want to produce a handheld that runs on its own, that can do its own thing. They want everything you have to be reliant on them in some way. Like
Yeah.
actively reliant on them.
Yeah, the last time we had that freedom was when, like I said, PS2,
The PS
DS,
Vita,
on the
dude.
old
The PS
consoles.
Vita is amazing.
yeah,
Mine is
Vita.
amazing. Offline, that thing is
Yep.
fucking awesome. I have no problem with anything. The 3DS was the same way, but guess what?
That's when it started.
That's when it was over. That's where they stopped.
No, they actually started with the 3DS.
I mean, there's updates and stuff.
There's updates
You know,
on
that,
it, and
that
there's certain games that are
so the
a little
DSi,
bit.
I guess, would be the
Yeah,
last.
DSi would be the last.
So the
official.
Vita and the DSi were the last handhelds that for the rest of time now it's going to be like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, and it sucks
It does.
because I'm a collector, and
me
if
too.
everything is going to be just digital now or streaming wise, and then for example, like for the best way to explain that what you just said is with, for example, Metal Gear. That's
Yeah.
my heart. That's my heart and soul. I love that game to death, but they had copyright issues, and that game has been out of shelves for over 10 years.
Mm.
So if you were to acquire a Metal Gear Solid 2, 3, or even 1 in the last 10 years, that's technically a illegal copy.
Mm.
There's no way to legally play these games unless you had the physical copy from the PS2. Yeah, the PS2 era. 'Cause I think Metal Gear started off as just a PlayStation exclusive. And I think Metal Gear 3 came out for all systems. Well, for both systems, Xbox and PlayStation.
Twin Snakes was on GameCube.
Twin Snakes, yeah, that was the remake.
Uh-huh.
And
Of
then
1 and 2.
yeah,
Oh, no,
only
one.
But
What did they have? They had. That's when it started being on other shit though.
yeah,
During the
but,
PlayStation 2 era.
but when the game was completely locked because of the copyright issues, like you just said, we had no access to it. It was on the store for PS4 and PS5 for a little bit. No, only PS4 because PS5 obviously is more recent. But like you just said, if you're depending on streaming every single game, if another game company goes through a situation like that, or there's any like issues, if you're in the middle of a playthrough for your channel, or even if you're in the middle playing it because you enjoy the actual game, they could just take it at the store whenever they want to, and guess what?
Yeah.
It's gone.
Well, we've seen that with
That's like PT.
Yeah, PT, exactly. That would be lost media if it wasn't.
Which I've got a PS4 that's got it on it, man. I've got
had
it.
it.
And
I
I
had
found
it,
it a few
But I had a system
times.
update and then deleted it.
There's ways to put it back on your shit and also emulate it. It's out there now, but
yeah.
the original download, if you've got it on your PlayStation, you can sell that bitch for tons of money.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it, but at the same time,
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't
Because
know.
people want that shit. There's a port for the Vita for it also, which is crazy because it looks the same. It's fucking crazy. But yeah, dude, there's we actively saw it with 007 Goldeneye here recently. Do you see a physical copy of that anywhere? Can anybody just buy it? No, you can't. If it gets pulled from streaming, it's gone. If it gets pulled from Game Pass, if it gets pulled from the Switch streaming stuff, it's gone. And that could happen at any time. It took them forever to be able to do it because of the licensing stuff, and they had to remove music from it and add new stuff. I mean, because of that, because of the licensing and shit. So it is what it is. That's my fucking rant on that shit. I know I did nothing but bitch, but that stuff irritates the fuck out of me.
It
Oh, I
irritates
agree.
me too, man, because this is stuff that honestly, if it's not talked about, it's just gonna get forgotten about.
Where
And
younger people won't know any difference, and we have to let them
No.
know, dude. Shit wasn't always like this.
no,
Yep.
You know, it was much more convenient and less expensive.
Yeah, I think a brand new game because I was a PlayStation person. I think a brand new PS2 game was like
$60 was like max forever, unless you were getting some collector's edition or something.
I think collectors for me was like $60. But I think for every new PS2 game, when I was buying it as a kid, well, my parents, it was like $49.99
Yeah.
or sometimes even $39.99.
Let's see.
I think
see.
when Jack and Dax, Jack 3 first came out, and Jack 2 won Game of the Year, and that was $44.99. I remember going to Target to get it when they first dropped.
All right, so I'm looking
Informer.
at KB Toys PS1 games, and like Final Fantasy VII when it came out was $49.99. Crash Bandicoot was $35. The Armored Core was like $40. So it was around the price you were saying.
Yeah, around 40 to $50. Yeah.
Yeah, I have good memory. I'm like an elephant, physically and mentally.
So it's like $20 more now. How crazy!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
God. So
Christmas 1989, an action set of the NES was $99.
A console?
Wow.
$99?
In 1989, yeah.
Shit. Okay. Can I
How
like
much
sell my
would a new
PS5
inbox-
and rebuy it for $100?
How much would a new inbox game or Nintendo Entertainment System go for right now, untouched, unopened?
Shit.
Oh my god.
Probably
Hold
a
on.
grand or so,
Hold on.
if I had to guess.
We can see something.
Vintage original control deck from 1986. There was one that sold online for $25,000.
Wow. That is insanity.
Yes. Hold on.
That is fucking insanity.
Oh gosh. Uh-oh, I hear him.
Oh, he's got the OG.
He's
Look
got
at
it.
him.
Yeah.
That beauty.
Yeah, the old front loader. I got one of those downstairs, man.
I want one of those top loaders with the fucking bone controller.
Dude, turn it to the side again. Like bring it closer to the camera.
He's got the AV out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's one of those ones that actually does have AV out. That's cool, man.
Super nice.
Because the old ones used to have those like just the RF out on the back,
Yep.
and it was garbled as hell.
Oh yeah.
I hated those.
But
Jesus.
I'm gonna have to hop off here soon, guys.
All right, let's end it here. So, everybody, we hope that y'all enjoyed, and we hope that y'all had some fun with us. But that's gonna do it. So until next time, y'all stay safe. Y'all be good people. I'm Nate.
I'm Rick.
And I'm Chad.
Y'all take care. Peace.